Come and jump in the ride, hop on the bus. We gon' slide, be outside when we pick you up. Take you to a place where you can open up your mind. Say what you gotta say, and nobody blinks an eye. You on the long bus, with short thoughts, long bus, with short thoughts, long bus, with short thoughts. You on the long bus, with short thoughts, long bus, with short thoughts, long bus, with short thoughts. At the bus stop and whatnot with some blunts in my lunchbox. Enough stock to last the whole show. Got a whole packed road. The place about to go, better keep your glass cold. I jump in, meet my other friends. Big respect, gotta show love to them. You wouldn't believe who the bumping in. Why you looking like that? You coming in? Anyway, this is Matt, that's Steve. What a rich Danny. There's Jason, there's Robin, that's the other Steve. This the whole damn team, the whole stampede. Welcome to the show. Go ahead and speak. Make yourself at home. Here, take a seat. Let your mind free. Hit a little tree. Take a little drink. Whatever you need. Whatever you need. Jump in the ride. Hop on the bus. We gon' slide. Be outside when we pick you up. Take you to a place where you can open up your mind. Say what you...
How we doing, fellas? Welcome to show 55. Well, if I didn't get it off there. Welcome to show 55. Yeah, so we'll get the business out of the way. Like, share, and subscribe. We'd like to thank Habits, Glass, and Goodies. 3 locations here in Omaha, one on 84th and J, one on 101st and Maple, and one over in the Florence neighborhood over off North 30th. We would also like to thank the Thirst Trap Collective Wellness. For my drinking buddies out there, they will come to you and give you IV hydration after that rough weekend. Or if you're feeling down, like feeling a little ill, they got wellness boosters, all that stuff. They'll come to you and take care of you. Check them out on Facebook, the Thirst Trap Collective Wellness. So what we've got today, we got the homie Fonzo here, we got Danny, and then we have Otis Julius.
Hey, happy to be here.
We're going to hit you with the...
Yeah, baby. With the kazoos.
That's right. We don't have too many people with the kazoos.
Watch out.
So welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
We're gonna start with the serious question first.
Yes.
Where did you come up with the name Otis Julius?
Okay, so Otis Julius is what my dad wanted to name me. So I'd previously been rapping under the name Big O, and I'd kind of just built myself into this box. And my intention with Big O was to make hip hop for punk kids because I grew up playing in punk bands. And as a result of that, everything I did was all black and white in my theming and everything like that. And I was like, I want to step out of this. And so I'm just ready for a rebrand. And Big O transitioned nicely into Otis Julius. So there's the name right there.
It is kind of a dope name.
Thank you. Yeah. At shows, I tell people that's like my real name. So now the people who watch this will know. So that's a great little bit right there. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
How old of a guy are you?
Oh, that is a good question. I just had a birthday, which I think puts me at 36, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a couple years younger than you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 32.
If I could have had your hair at fucking 30s, I would have been great.
Yeah.
That's dope. Nope, I have joked with my wife. I was like, "You sure you don't know Otis? Barrett's hair is awful curly." My 6-year-old
Otis the mailman.
Yeah. Yep, that's been the joke. So you're from Idaho?
I'm from Idaho, yeah.
And now in California, right?
Yeah, now I live in Los Angeles. Grew up in Idaho. Definitely love Idaho and living in LA now. I grew up 30 minutes west of Boise, a little town called Caldwell. For any entertainment or any shows or anything like that, you just traveled over to Boise. So, yeah.
All right.
Boise's a cool place.
Yeah, Boise's rad. Do you guys play over there quite a bit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're out there. I think we just did a show. What's it, Liquid Joe's? No, that's not.
No, that's Salt Lake.
That's Salt Lake, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what the one is.
You play the Neurolux?
Yep.
Okay.
That place is awesome.
Neurolux is rad. I don't know if it's the same owners, but do you ever book through Duck Club Presents?
I don't think so.
Okay, they have a venue. They book at Neurolux as well, but they also have this new spot called the Shrine Social.
Yeah,
the Shrine
we've been to
Social.
the Shrine. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
did you do upstairs or downstairs?
The downstairs.
Yeah, I just did the downstairs last week for the first time. I was like, this place is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a cool spot.
And we had was my first time headlining Boise properly, and we had 97 paid through the door. I was super stoked about it.
Nice.
And it's a 175 cap, I think is what it is. I like it looks full, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes it look like a packed room.
Yeah. I loved it. It was a ton of fun. Yeah. So
Yeah.
great experience. Yeah.
So not only are you music, you do a little modeling. Do you,
Yeah. Do a little bit of modeling, a little bit of acting, kind of just the LA thing, I guess. Gig work. You know, I worked production for 3 years through COVID for Pizza Hut production studios. So there was a span of 3 years where every Pizza Hut commercial or photo shoot that was released, I was involved in some aspect or whatever. So that was cool too. That really helped get us through COVID when everything was just like shut down. So yeah, that was super rad.
how am I going to make money?
Yeah. Who knew it'd be Pizza Hut? Who knew? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't help Pizza the Hut, right?
Yeah. For real.
Did you do some schooling to get into the production, or did you just learned it on your own?
Nah, yeah. I've kind of always just gone for that. I never went to school or anything like that. Yeah. I was pretty much so begging my parents at like probably 16 or 17 to let me drop out. And they weren't about it. But I was just like, by that time, I was like, there's no way I'm going to pay to go to school. Like, I'm ready to make money. So went straight into full-time work. And I'd kind of been working full-time since I was 14 anyway. At 14, I had a job working at a plastic factory. And then at 18, I got a job, oddly enough, working full-time for the post office. So I was a mailman for 5 years.
In small town Nebraska.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was a mailman for 5 years, and that's a really long answer to say no. I didn't go to school for anything.
No, that's cool. I didn't either. This has all just been
Cool.
winging it.
Good.
So-
That's the way to be, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a labor of love, and it's come together nicely. But
Yeah. When I was doing Big O stuff, I had this little like shtick thing that I believed in, and it was DIY till I die. And it was like DIY, obviously, it's for do it yourself, but the die stood for do it every day. And it's just like that's how you're gonna like learn stuff yourself is just do it every day.
yeah,
And it's just like yeah. So DIY till I die for sure.
that's what's up.
Yeah.
So where did your love of music come from?
Okay, so I went to Warped Tour maybe 2000. I'm going to guess 2004 to go see the band Zebrahead. Do you guys know Zebrahead at all?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I went strictly to see Zebrahead. I accidentally ended up seeing the band Emery. I don't know if you know Emery, but Emery went on to become my all-time favorite band. There's something about them that just sucked me in. I was just like, oh, this is what I've been missing. And I was like, I want to do that. And then eventually started a punk band, and me and my friends, our goal was to rip off Emery and this band called Showbread. And we did not do well at either of those things, but that's like kind of how this thing started. I was just like, oh, this is where it's at. Because I played football and basketball all through high school. I definitely wasn't like a jock, but I was athletic, I guess, But then once I found this music, I was like, oh, this is like where I belong. This is where I fit in. I really enjoy this, and this is going to be like my channel to touch lives and change people and make the world a better place, or however tacky you want to say that. So
Well, you have that feel good, like
Positive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Thank you.
If you can do it, if I can do it, you can do it. Like
boy, that's for real. The title track on that album, the first lyrics are nothing is special about me. It's just like, just go out and figure it out, dude. Like,
and it was funny because when my kid first heard, that line in that song, he was like, how's nothing special? The dude's on YouTube singing the song for me right now. He seems kind of special, Dad. I'm like, bro, it's just as easy could be you.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying that. That's what he's trying to tell you is you could be that person.
Yeah, for sure. So, man, I don't know what question I was answering. I don't know where we were at there. I got sidetracked. Sorry.
We're all good. We are all good.
It's funny that you mentioned Zebrahead. After the interview, I got a story for you.
Okay. Yeah. I've recently been going over some acts I want to try to get in contact with about doing some shows with, and Zebrahead is on that list. And so we'll talk after this. Yeah,
It's funny.
yeah.
We were talking kind of where your love of music came from, and then
There we are. Boom.
yeah. Now for the production, and are you doing your music videos now? A lot of that your own, or you got
Yeah.
somebody doing that?
Yeah. I did not do the Lego music video. The Lego music video was,
Dope.
thank you. I have the entire script written out for it to be like a real video, and then whenever I put it all down and looked at it, I was like, here's the reality: is something like 90% of my budget is going to go into a rental Ferrari, and I can't really properly like feel good about doing that and paying the video guy, the director, less than a prop, you know. So then I started kicking around this idea of like this Lego stop action idea, and reached out to a couple people. Ended up getting in contact with one of the editors from. Did you guys watch that Amazon show called The Boys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one of the guys from The Boys, one of the editors on that show, made the music video for me.
They did great.
Yeah, it's a great video.
I mean,
I
even
love
like
it.
when the car peels out the little grass and
Yeah,
stuff,
it's
and like
super cool. Super
they
cool.
nailed that.
And
yeah.
what's cool is I pretty much just sent him the script for the real video, and like I'm just super pleased with how that turned out. And it's kind of weird because like the video I released prior to that was the Mullet Gang video, and that video I did with absolutely zero budget. I filmed it on I think at the time I think it was an iPhone 10, and me and my wife just drove around the town, and we went to yard sales that were closing up for the day, and they're getting ready to take stuff to the dump. And I was like, yo, we'll take that, you know? And so we just went and got all of our props for free, took it out to the desert, shot the video on an iPhone, zero budget at all. Like that was the concept on that one. And then we flipped around and came back and did the Lego music video, which ended up being like the largest budget I've ever done on a music video. So it was kind of cool to do them back to back like that. So,
yeah. Nope. I was going to give you all the credit for making that badass video, but yeah, that's
I wish I could take the credit.
Well,
you
you came up with the
Yeah.
plan for the video. You came up with the execution. You designed it.
You're right. And, you know, I've had this ongoing like thing for the past probably like 6 to 8 years where like, because we came up with the concept of the stop action video, and I was like, oh, we can do this in like my office. I'll get everything out of the office. Right. We'll black it all out, and I can learn to do this stop motion. And then in my mind, I was also, here's a really good excuse for me to buy like a bunch of Lego as well, you know? And then I stopped to realize like, you know, it was, I went through the same process before that where I was going to start buying all my own like recording equipment. And I was just like, I don't want to take the time to learn how to like properly record and mix or whatever. It's just like, I'm not trying to be a professional sound engineer. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to be a professional rapper. So why don't I focus on what I'm trying to do and let somebody else who's good at what they do, you know, it's just a waste of time.
It's like you have to send it off to somebody anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, did not do the Lego video myself, but I'm super stoked with how it turned out.
Yeah, no, that's how the kids ask for it. Is can we watch the Lego one?
Yeah, the Lego one. Yep.
Yeah. So if you and I just met as a new fan, what 3 songs would you point me towards?
Oh man,
to start with,
I would say Mullet Gang. I would say Hyundai to Ferrari because of the Lego video. And then I think I would have to tell you to listen to If I Can Do It, Then You Can Do It. I think. I'm not real sure about that third one. That's hard. I part of it might just be like mentally like knowing that that's what I'm pushing really hard right now. So that might just be like my cheap answer. But you know, I do have my fan favorite, which is my Ed, Ed and Eddie song. That was one of my first releases as Otis Julius, and like the audio quality, it performs great live. The audio quality online, it's not there. It has not been professionally mastered. It has not been professionally mixed. So you listen to that, and you get a little bit more of that gritty, like DIY punk feel, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. People really like that song too. So I don't know what to tell you.
I had Mullet Gang is, one of my favorite.
Cool, cool.
My kid, bro, with his mullet.
Yeah.
When you're like shake it, bro, he is just I mean, he's
Love
going
it.
nuts.
Love it.
He's,
Cool.
when he's the type he gets into it 100%.
Okay.
He's a cool kid.
Love it.
And then, I do play the if I can do it, you can do it on the way to school sometimes.
Cool.
Because, just to get them amped up for
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So,
I've really been enjoying on these shows that I'm playing right now, like standing on stage and being able to like actually watch people face to face and see how playing that song through is actually like connecting with them and like in the process of helping them through something. And it's just really, really weird to see in real time, and it's something that if you would have told me like this is going to happen, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's really nice. That's a great idea, but it's really weird to see in real time. It's just like, this is odd. I didn't like, I've obviously been changed and moved and empowered by music or whatever, but like to actually see it from something that like I'm creating is like, I don't know. It's cool, dude. It's cool. Yeah.
I love how energetic you are on stage and how you get the crowd involved. Every on your Facebook, bro, just watching the videos here from since you started the tour,
Yeah.
everybody in the crowd's back and forth with you. And
Yeah.
I love that you really try to get them involved and it does make it more fun.
Yeah. And one thing that I've learned about myself is I can go on a tour and every night there's a good chance that I will not be the best rapper in the room, but it's very rare that I'm not the best performer in the room. And so it's just kind of like, for me, it was learning where my strong points are, how I can connect with people and really utilizing that, And so instead of trying to provide this super crispy, clear, like life-changing vocal bit or whatever, like I've just chosen to lean more toward
having fun.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah,
Is it's
cool.
a little more fun.
Yeah.
Makes the show enjoyable.
Yeah, some of the music, it's some of it's a little serious or whatever. So you just kind of sit back and watch, you know. But that, when you're up on stage swinging your arms around and jumping, and that it makes you want to be part of that.
Yeah. It's that's my goal. And I was talking to Forrest last night, the night before, I don't know when. But I was telling him that like one of the reasons I perform the way that I do is I remember going to shows when I was younger and the things that really connected with me and just the performance, not music at all. And like seeing these really cool things that these bands would do or whatever. And then like my goal is to recreate that feeling in my own way to try to pass that feeling to somebody who's watching my show,
Yep.
And so like, I used to listen to a bunch of like super heavy stuff. There's this really like chaotic kind of underground band called The Chariot that I was like a huge fan of. And like, I swear half the time they weren't even playing their instrument because it was on the ground or in the air or whatever, but it was great visual entertainment, And so like, I think in this set, there's probably 20% of the time where my mic's not even in hand, and it's just like finding a way to connect. And it's just like, that's great. Cause I don't want to be like rapping this whole time anyway. I don't like that.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, do you have like two dope artists that you've worked with in the past or, maybe two you want to work with in the future?
Let's see here. Artists that I've worked with, there's this like nerdcore rapper named MC Lars that took me on my first full US tour back in 2017. And that really like changed my life. Up until that point, I had been doing a bunch of small regional extended weekend runs. I think at that time, my largest tour was like 10 dates or something like that. And then he took me out we did 29 shows in 32 days, I think. And we just like full US. And at the end of that tour, I I've always wanted to have this experience, and now I've had the experience. I know this is what I want to do, And so that was really influential for me. And we're still good friends. Every time he's in LA, we meet up for dinner or whatever. But so that's let's see. You're asking for two artists.
I mean, and it could be a producer that you're, because that is still.
Yeah. Boy, I got good answers for the people I want to work with. The people that I really want to work with, I really want to tour with this band called the Aquabats, and then I really want to tour with this rapper called Prof.
Okay.
And so I think I would be a really good fit on both of those.
I love Prof.
Prof's great.
Yeah, Prof's really cool. I've been trying to figure out how to make it make sense because I emailed his people and kind of sent my whole pitch, who I am, what I do, or whatever, and like their response was like, "Hey Otis, like, yeah, we know who you are. You're on our radar." And I'm like, "Yo, this is dope." I was like, "This is gonna lead to something," and then it hasn't yet. So I'm like trying to figure out how to make that make sense.
His manager is a really good dude. Once you talk to him, Mike Campbell.
Okay, I haven't talked to Mike yet. Okay.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's
Okay.
a really good dude.
Okay, cool.
I've known Prof for a long time. And
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Mike, they're all really good folks. Once you get in there with them,
Awesome.
Yeah.
There it is.
We'll talk more about that then too.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yep. The connection has been made.
Yeah, it's insane how small this music world is once you're inside. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. See, my normal guys that are here, they're working today because it's not it's not their day off. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like,
are we?
It's a
We're
Friday.
We're Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So they're one sells cars, the other works overnight, and it just didn't work out. So I was like, Fonzo, man,
cool.
I'm in town. Why not?
Yeah.
Come
No,
rock
this is
with
great.
us.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah.
So and then what do you do for fun, dude? Like, what do you do to get it out?
Oh my goodness. That's one thing. Whenever I do interviews and stuff like that, people always ask me like, what's one piece of advice that you have for an artist trying to do something similar to what you're doing or whatever? And my number one answer is always like, be prepared to sacrifice, because like I've sacrificed so much to do what I do because I've done it all DIY without any major help or push, And so my answer prior to music would have been for fun. I really love to snowboard. I haven't snowboarded in years because A, it's expensive, and B, like I spend my time booking. I don't really have to. Thankfully, I'm at a point where I don't have to spend a ton of time booking shows. But like when I first started this all DIY, it was like I was sitting in bed for like 14 hours a day, just sending endless emails to try to put together like a 6-date tour. And just trying to get people like, let me come play at your place for $50,
Right.
And so like so thankfully I don't really spend the time like that. But man, whenever I talk about fun, I really like to travel. I really like to relax. I like to vacation. So whenever I hear about fun, that's kind of my idea right there. Yeah.
We live in a vacation state.
Yeah. We haven't been in a few years. I need to go back. But we like to go down to Mexico. My wife just got a new agent in Vegas, so she's been working a ton in Vegas. So we go over to Vegas quite a bit too, and I like that.
Oh, there's tons of good food out there.
Oh yeah.
Every time I go to Vegas, I go to Tony Roma's because of the ribs.
Dude, I've been because they do the really cheap steak and lobster at night, right?
Yeah.
And I've been like 3 times, and every time I go there, like the line is like wrapped out, and I'm like, I'm over it. I'm not standing in line for like $12 steak and lobster. So I always go over to what's the place like just off the Ellis Island, and they got the steak and egg breakfast for like $8 or whatever, and they got $3 craft tables. I'm just like, yeah, this is the move.
You can get a coney dog for like $1.50.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Glizzy Fest tonight.
Glizzy Fest tonight, man.
Yeah.
Stoked about that.
You gonna try to put down some dogs?
I guess so.
Oh, come on, you got your own dog.
I got my own dog, so I have to. And so I will tell you this: as a background in like punk music or whatever, I've tried to do a lot of stupid, silly, off the wall stuff at a show. And so I'd play festivals and kind of just be out in the crowd while I'm rapping and take a bite of somebody's cheeseburger or whatever. And I've learned that eating and rapping at the same time is not for me.
Right.
So I've got to try to figure out something cool to do with some hot dogs today on stage. We'll
I mean,
figure that
Dakota
out.
said he's going to do what, 7?
No, he said 8 because the
8?
record is
Oh, yeah.
7
Record
dogs.
is 7, yeah.
The record is 7 dogs. Dakota wants to do 8. He wasn't
Okay.
sure. He thought he's like, I'm probably going to try to wait till after my set.
But
And I think I saw Straw saying he was going to try to eat while DJing.
Yeah,
so we'll see
yeah,
how
yeah.
all that goes.
Yeah.
I'm saying between songs, how's a dog?
Yeah, exactly.
Turn him into 2-biters.
And-
Exactly. Yeah. If I can eat them during the hooks, because the crowd can take care of the hook, I'll throw down a dog and be back in time for the
Slider
verse.
version
We're
of a
set.
hot dog, you call it that.
So you did end up with your own dog from Decent Dogs.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
And,
Straw hooked it up.
and you
Yep.
got you're the creator of the sauce that goes on the dog. The
Yeah,
pizza sauce.
yeah. It was cool because the dude that I did that with in Des Moines, he was at the show last night, so it was really cool to see him again too. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you did a whole pizza tour, right?
Yeah. So it's just, again, kind of crazy, the weird opportunities that come up on tour and the weird life that we live. This guy was not like an Otis Julius fan, but he saw one of the ads that I was running for a tour. He just messaged me. It was just like, hey, do you want to come tour a pizza sauce factory? And like, typically on stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, no, because you almost always run into some weirdos. You know, I'm like, oh, we've got load in early, or oh, we might get a flat tire, or whatever, you know. But like,
It's not every day you get that message.
yeah. And so I was like, pizza tour. Let's go do it. So I showed up, and I'm thinking it's just some kid that works at a pizza factory. You know, it's a warehouse or whatever. And so I show up, and this guy comes out. I'm like, so what's the deal? Like, you work here? You a manager? What's going on? And he's like, no, I own the spot. I'm like, okay, this is instantly cooler. And then, he kind of gave us a whole rundown. And, he's got like all the pizza sauce has to be like dated or whatever, but he's changed all the date codes to just say like Otis Pizza Party Tour 2023 or something along those lines. So like, I got my own big old chunk of a couple boxes of pizza sauce that I'll say like Otis and like the tour name and everything like that. It's like, man, you really hooked it up, and we've just become really good friends since then.
That's
So every
badass.
time I'm in Des Moines, I'll give him a call, and
That's cool.
we'll typically go out to eat, or he'll at least come to the show. So yeah, really nice guy.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
The connections you pick up on the road
Yeah,
and
yeah.
new friends and
Uh-huh.
stuff.
I guess he's getting ready to step into a new business venture that's going to have him traveling a lot out toward LA. So it's like, that's cool. So I'll get to hang out with him over there too. So that'll be nice.
Sweet. You got any cool stuff coming up here? Any new music? Or I know
Man,
you're
so
kind of in the middle of tour here.
Yeah, I got really big plans for the fall, and right now they are just plans, nothing set yet. And if I've learned one thing, it's like, don't talk about it until you at least got one foot in the wet cement, you know?
Yep.
And so
Otherwise, it falls to shit. quick.
Yeah. So I got really big plans, really big concept. Not ready to talk about it yet. If I'm able to put together what I'm working on, it will also involve new music coming with it. So at some point, but right now I'm just focused on pushing this newest album. This album has kind of been weird to me because it released super well. We charted number 6 on the iTunes hip hop charts, which like, it's iTunes, it's not Billboard, but like, it's still something, you know? And like, that was super dope. And what was really like mind boggling to me was my release date, which obviously, you know, you put your music into the distro and then you set your release date in advance or whatever. So you got no clue what's actually going on. Well, it ends up being the same week that Kendrick and Drake are like fighting. And so I look at the, I release at number 6 and I look at the top 5 that beat me out for my release, and 3 of them are Kendrick and Drake, and I'm like, if you guys would have done this next week, I would have a top 3 album. Like that's insane, you know.
That's cool.
But yeah. So it's a really cool feeling. But all that to say, like, you know, I don't got this big money machine behind me. So like the album released super good. I feel like it was received well, and then it kind of died. I feel like the Otis EP, which I released before that released at number 8, I feel like that never really like fully died out. And if I can do it, then you can do it. I feel like kind of lost some traction really fast. And I do know part of that is my fault because you know, I toured with Shaggy from ICP last year, and then I ended up taking almost a full year, something like 9 months off, and I'm positive that's part of why this thing kind of like fell a little bit. But I do want to spend some more time properly promoting this album and taking it out and showing it to people before I'm ready to dive into something. I do know the next thing that I release, I've got this concept that I've kind of been working through, and so the next release is going to be called, unless something silly happens in between, but the next release I want to call it Julius, and it's just going to be like kind of a triple record where the first one is Otis, and if I can do it, then you can do it, Julius, and it just kind of just goes through my DIY career or whatever you want to call it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, where can everybody? I mean, is obviously Otis Julius was easy on YouTube. Is it same with the socials? All of
Yeah. If you type in Otis Julius in any Google search bar or any platform of whatever, it should just be the first thing that always pops up. If you type in Otis, you're gonna have to scroll past Otis Redding, and then I'll be there. But yeah.
I'm a Otis Redding fan, so
Cool.
so
The OG Otis. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So every time I hear your name or something, that like rushes through my head. I'm like,
yeah. So that's search Otis, pretty much anywhere, whatever you listen to, whatever you watch, whatever, and it'll show up. And if it doesn't, shoot me a message because something's not working right. Yeah.
No, and you respond. I had made a comment that the kids were going to be there mulleted up, and you were like, "Hey, hit me up, man. We'll see you at the show."
Cool.
So
Yeah.
It's nice when the contact is made back, and
yeah. And you know that's another thing that I really found about. I don't know, saying this with all like humility or whatever. Like my online numbers are just trash. I got really small online numbers, and yet I can come play shows that people come to and are excited for. And part of the reasoning behind that is just I've learned how important it is to actually connect with the fans and the people and be friendly and be involved. You know, it's so easy to be like, show tomorrow, who's coming, and not respond to anybody. But as soon as somebody's like, I'll be there, I'm excited. Me too. We had such a good time last time, or whatever that looks like, you know. It's like that's genuine connection, and that's how you're genuinely like building a organic, authentic fan base, you know. So
I get a lot of messages, and I will entertain the conversation until it's like, well, I'm a marketing expert, and they're like, oh, that's what this was.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but no, I do my best to keep up with people throughout the day, and then I feel like I try to set aside probably about an hour a day just to be on my phone responding to things. So,
That's cool.
Yeah, it's I guess maybe discipline is hard, whatever, you know, but
But it seems to make you. I don't think you just do it because you have to. I think you do it because you want to.
I absolutely do.
And the personal touch is nice.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're making yourself happy doing it.
And let me tell you, man, last night in Des Moines was just insane because we only had 50 people through the door last night, so smaller show, but like there was multiple times throughout the show where like I was able just to put the mic down because people were just singing along, and I'm not talking about just hooks, like the entire song, and I'm like, this is exactly what I've been looking for. So I know, like, I'm so thankful, so grateful for my solid fan base that I do have. That, like, I want to make sure that they feel respected and not taken for granted. Like, they'll be here next time. Like, no,
Right.
like, I want you to be here next time because this is, it's good for you, but it's also really nice for me, know? So, yeah.
Why? Thank you, Justin, for putting Glizzy Fest
Oh,
together.
definitely,
Yes.
definitely.
Because you are another artist that, you're all the way on the West Coast, dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, when am I
Yeah.
going to see this guy or be able to be like, yeah, just pop by for a podcast? And
Yeah.
You definitely got the longest. They had the longest at the last show we did. Now you just whooped that.
Yep, I told Dakota, I was like, you've been probably our farthest away. So now, but now you definitely got the new record.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. I'm trying to think. So this tour started in Boise was day one of the tour. I just did Boise and Idaho Falls, and then I flew from Boise. I had to wake up at 2:30 a.m. at my parents' house, catch my flight to Kansas City, land in Kansas City, and drive 3 or 4 hours south to Independence, I think, and then play the show. And then we booked our hotel in Kansas City and drive back. So it was like, all in all, it was like a 23-hour travel day. And I was like, that's great. So talking about distance, I was like, yeah, I've done some distance recently. And so, yeah.
Yep, that's rough. I've never been to California, but I've been to Florida, so I know, similar deal. We're right in the middle, pretty much.
Yeah. No, I mean, LA is just expensive, man.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah. So
For
yeah.
sure. So we had Forrest on a couple shows ago.
Yeah.
And dude, I don't know if you got to watch all of it or not, but he's so stoked to
work
join
with
you
Good.
on this. I mean, that's all he talked about. Otis.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So I want to know what it's like to do to do a show with him.
That's great. First of all, when I reached out to Forrest about these shows, because listening through my music, like, I have a really hard time finding like acts that I feel like actually fit with what I'm doing. I have no problem finding acts that I like, but to actually fit with what I'm doing is kind of difficult for me sometimes. Ever since I met Forrest, I think late 2023 maybe, and ever since then, this idea has kind of been in my mind. Like, I think I could do some shows with Forrest and see how that goes.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to him, and it worked out. I was like, okay, that's dope. And so your question is, what's it like doing shows with Forrest? And I guess my answer is like exactly what I thought it would be like. Like, I think I legitimately think the first night of tour we were down in Independence, Kansas, and I legitimately think he had the best set of the night. He absolutely killed it, and I loved it. And I get excited being around people who are excited
That's what
to be out doing
that's what my
things.
point. He was so excited.
Yeah,
And this was
just
his first tour, I think, too. So
yeah.
yeah.
And that's huge for me too, because
That gives you a little bit of extra energy, maybe.
that's part of it. But I also look back at like how much of a role model and like mentor MC Lars is to me for taking me out on my first tour.
Right.
And now I'm able to hand that down. And my big thing with whenever acts come on tour with me is I'm never gonna be like, yep, come on tour with me and we're gonna go sell out 1,000-cap venues. Like, that's not gonna happen on an Otis tour. But I can give you the knowledge and teach you and help you figure out how to get how I got to where I am. It's not going to work for everybody, but I can share my knowledge. You can figure out how to take that and put it into what you're doing, So I really enjoy helping younger, newer artists figure out like what the next step is. I've recently just started doing artist coaching and freaking loving it. And just, I don't know, kind of, I don't want to say looking at what's next for music, because I'm not looking at that, but just looking at like what else is involved. It's just like coaching. Like, I've been DIY touring for 10 years, and I figured out how to do something interesting with it, and I love sharing that. And I think I'm really good and really smart with branding and helping people figure all of that out. So it's a ton of fun with him, and he kills it. He's great to be around, and on the flip side, he's also kind of fulfilling my weird little need, which is to help other artists start to take steps in a bigger direction,
Right.
you know? And it's a ton of fun being out there with him. He's a great dude. Yeah.
I always tell every band that buys on with us, it's like, talk to the promoter, talk to the owner, always get that contact info, because you can come back through anytime. You just got to get that rapport with them and make sure you have that and keep it.
100%, 100%. And that's what, that was my biggest mistake from my first U.S. tour with MC Lars. I was like, yo, I'm going on full U.S. tour. Went on full U.S. tour. And I was done. I was like, oh, what next? Like, I didn't have any sort of a backup plan, you know? And so that's like one mistake that I made that now I'm helping Forrest not make. Like, these are the people. Yeah. So, yeah. That's huge, though. You're 100% right.
It's true.
And then the chances are, if you're buying onto a bigger tour or whatever like that, that promoter's not going to book you in that venue, but he's got a friend that's going to be able to put you in Maloney's bar or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Unless you're going through town, he could throw you on at the beginning of the show or some shit.
That too. 100%.
They really do help out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all about making the connections.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you spent your money to be here, may as well actually utilize it.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody at this table makes their money off of connections. You know what I mean? You're knowing the managers. You do the car stereos and stuff. You know, it's all about who you know, and it's always. And
100%.
you and Forrest have a good energy together. You know what I mean? You're both great people. You'd almost need to call it the Big Hugs Tour or something.
I don't see how you're going to have one show that has a negative impact in any fucking way. Excuse my expression.
No, I agree.
There's no excuse.
I'm so looking forward to tonight.
Cool. It's gonna be a ton of fun. I'm really looking. I just love playing Omaha. I got some weird extensive history in Omaha, and like it really is my favorite market to play. And like I'm just so happy to be back in town here. You know.
Yeah, just for fun. How did you and Strawstone hook up?
Okay. How long do you want this story?
Let's go. Well, we still got 15 minutes if we need it.
Okay. So, I'd mentioned I'd done the MC Lars tour.
Yeah.
The MC Lars tour kicked off in Brooklyn, New York, at the Knitting Factory. I don't know if you'd played there before it closed.
Yeah, we've been there before.
Okay,
that place closed a long time ago too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So we did the Knitting Factory in Brooklyn, New York. That was night one. I was touring with a backing band from Idaho. I'm like, all right, well, we got to drive to Brooklyn, and I'm not just going to drive to Brooklyn. So I did something really stupid. I set up 4 dates to get from Boise to Brooklyn, and they were all like, 12-hour hauls, stop, play, show, hopping and driving, and so I'd never played Omaha before. I played this spot called Dr. Jack's. Played Dr. Jack's. I think there was probably 6 people at the show. There was this local band that opened for us, and this dude, Nick Decker, is in that band. I don't know if you guys know Nick Decker at all. He's in a ska band now called Plastic Presidents locally.
Okay.
But he was a kid at the time. I think he was 16 years old. And he was just like, yo, next time you want to come through Omaha, hit me up and we'll put you in like a basement show. I was like, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And so I hit him up after tour. It's probably the next year. And he's like, yeah, we got this basement. Come play a show. And so we show up, and Nick packs like 60 kids in this basement. I'm like, yo, this is dope. Okay, cool. Yeah. And so come back through probably 8 months later, and Nick packs like 80 kids in this basement, so much that kids are standing outside of the cellar doors waiting for somebody to come out so they can go, and it's that full. Nick hires security for a basement show. It's super rad. we're crowd surfing in the basement. Super sick. Then time to come back through again, and Nick's like, hey, I got this bigger DIY spot. It's going by the name of Lucy's Pub, and it was just like a 2-car garage, And we packed out the 2-car garage. I hit Nick up again. He's like, hey, dude, here's the deal. I have done the most I can do with you. You need to talk to this dude named Justin Strawstone. He kind of runs the hip-hop scene in Omaha. I was like, okay, let me message him. I message him. Nothing really comes of it. And then I book another full U.S. tour that is my headliner, just all DIY shows or whatever, super small. And I hit Straw up about an Omaha date, and he's like, actually, I've got Mac Lethal in Des Moines and Omaha. You can open on those if you want. And, we talked business a little bit, and he was like, I don't know what these shows are going to do. I can't guarantee you any pay. I can tell you if the shows do well, I can kick you some gas money. I was like, that's great. That's it that I'm looking for. And so we get to Des Moines for the first night, and that's when like rumors of the pandemic start happening. And it's just like, oh, this is so Des Moines is really small. And obviously I do my job, and I talk to Straw. I say, hey, like, is there any money to pay me, And Straw wasn't at that show. He had a rep running that show. So Straw gets on the phone, just real angry, like, what do you mean? Are you getting money? We didn't ever talked about money. I was like, yo, I said if there was any money, you could pay me. You agreed. I'm just doing my job of asking. Oh, my bad. Okay, cool. And so then I show up in Omaha, and things are great. Meet Straw for the first time in person. That is the very last show that's ever played at the Lookout Lounge. I played the very last show at Lookout before it closed down. And then, pandemic happens, world shuts down. I stay connected to Straw just online. I see him post this thing about some King ISO tour. I'm like, what is this? And I look at the dates. I'm like, yeah, Straw, you're going to need a driver for that. Like, let me come drive you. And he's like, there's really no budget for a driver. I'm like, all right, dude, here's what we're going to do. Like, I'll come drive you for free. You take care of my transportation to get there and take care of my food. And in return, you trade me like 10 dates that you booked for me or whatever. And he's like, okay, cool. And so we do that, go out, and I'm just the driver on the King ISO tour. We come back. He books me like 4 dates on this little weekend run. We call it the Midwest Beach Party Tour. It's like cool, whatever. It was fun. And then I'm a guest like 3 to 4 months later. He calls me. He's like, hey, the rest of the dates that I owe you. So I just booked 10 dates with Doobie and Caskey. Do you want to just be an opener on those? I was just like, yes. And so, went back out. And so that's how me and Straw kind of got connected. And the reality was, like, me and Straw were kind of strangers, and he sat in the passenger seat while he's TMing this King ISO tour. I'm sitting in the driver's seat with a stranger, and we kind of had to become either enemies or best friends, and it worked out, Yeah. So love that dude.
He's tough to hate.
He is.
Yeah. He is.
He's a sweetheart.
He is. He does a lot of good for people. And,
oh man, yeah.
I thank you, Fonzo, for bringing Strawstone into the life.
He's a good dude.
Yep, he is. We've enjoyed working with him, and doing some artists and supporting his cause.
Yeah,
it's been great. And
yep.
Let's support some kids during Christmas and things like that. Yeah. Like, man, I can get behind a guy like that for sure. And, and he does good business.
Oh man,
with
he's
everything.
Awesome. He's awesome. Yeah. And we've learned so much from each other, but like in situations like that, you're stupid if you walk away not learning something, So yeah.
You can tell he enjoys having you around.
Yeah. That's my dude. It was. So last night was the first show that he was with me on this little run in Des Moines. It's just like, oh, this is nice. This is nice, So yeah.
We'll have a good time tonight. Got anything else you want to shout out?
Socials or anything, man?
Well, we went over the Otis. Yep.
Yeah. Let me see here. I'm trying to think if I have a really good story for you. Let me think about that for just a second.
What was the music video you were in? What were you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Some rock.
Someone else's music.
You're not supposed to talk about the ghost. He's not here.
Never mind.
Okay. So I do a lot of like background work in LA, which like for people watching that may not know what that is, it's just like anytime you watch a TV show, a movie, anything like that, if there's a film, if there's a scene shot in downtown New York and it's like a busy New York street, all those people are paid background actors that are just being city patrons, or if there's a scene in a supermarket and there's other shoppers, like those are paid background actors. So I do a ton of background work. That's how I accidentally got into modeling. There's a site that I belong to. I pay annually for it, and it's just a whole bunch of different background gigs, anything from like national commercial background to like rinky dinky like Amazon advertisements or whatever, And so I submitted. Anytime I see anything that says vintage 80s or trailer trash, I'm like, oh, looks like I'm working. Okay.
Got a job.
Yeah, exactly. So I submitted to this thing that said like vintage streetwear or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. I guess I'm working on this. Went in and did the audition, and they're like, we can't tell you that you're booked, but pretty much so you're booked. I was like, okay, yeah. And so I don't know what the product is or whatever. I know at the time that was the highest day rate that I had ever made doing background stuff. It was a good rate. So this was definitely within 6 months of moving to LA, but I want to say this was within like 3 months of moving to LA. And so I was excited for it, showed up to the fitting, and I like go to the penthouse of this like super nice hotel. Like, yo, what is this job? They show up and the entire penthouse is just covered in Gucci wear. I'm like, yo, this is a Gucci commercial. And so, so I ended up modeling through Gucci that way. That was super rad, which is really funny because I'm married to my wife models professionally. And it's super funny because it's like we've kind of flip-flopped because I modeled for some major high-end fashion company before she did. But she's worked with Busta Rhymes, and I've never worked with somebody that famous before in music, So it's just like this really weird flip flop. But anyway, going back to music video, I was doing background, and I showed up to. I've been in a whole bunch of different music videos. I've been in some really cool music videos. Some, I'm trying to think of I don't know what the most famous music video I've been in. But music videos are always interesting because they're like either really fun or you're just like, I'm ready to go home type of days, But this one I showed up to and like sit down and they're making you fill out all this paperwork, this non-disclosure, everything like that. And I'm seeing it. A lot of the paperwork is tagged with Universal Music. I'm like, this is something big. So I asked like one of the production people, and they're like, I'm like, who is this? They're like, I don't know, some TikTok kid. I don't know. But it ended up being that super viral Roxanne music video by Arizona Zervas. And like that video, my clip from that video got played in like Times Square, got played all over the world. Somebody sent a picture. It was in like the Paris airport or something like that. It's like, oh, this is cool. Fun, So, but it was a super fun day. I run full visuals during my set, so you'll see some clips from that music video tonight during my set. Okay. So, I'll tell you where it's at later. Actually, this drops late. This is
after.
Not. Yeah.
Okay. A couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah. So, no, I'm doing a cover tonight, and it'll be during that cover. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun way to make a little bit of extra money in LA. And it's beautiful because like it's not hard. A lot of times it's really long hours, and a lot of times like it can be an hour and a half in between like scene setups. Yeah. And so what's great about that is like I take my laptop to work and then I'm working on music stuff while they're setting up. So I'm getting paid to work on what I'm trying to work on, and like it just works out really well. And then you can always just turn down your own jobs or whatever, So like it works out well. It's a lot of fun, and I don't know. It's just fun, and that is the industry with extra money. That is for sure.
How'd you like that transition from being in the middle of nowhere to LA?
I'm not necessarily an LA fan.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
like,
kind of tough. I mean, not
yeah.
not being from there and being from more of a free state where you're
Yeah.
able to do,
Yeah,
you
like
see more guns in a happy manner there.
right. Or like have a backyard too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like right now, me and the wife live in a 780 square foot apartment in Chinatown, so it's not great,
Mm-mm.
and we're paid 2,300. You know, and it's just like yeah, it's just it's wild. It's just like whenever I'm touring through the Midwest, people will be like, "Do you know what kind of house you could be living in for that money?" I'm just like, "Yeah, I bet. I don't want to hear about it."
There was a house for sale around the corner from me a couple of weeks ago for $30,000.
No way.
Yeah.
That's out in Craig, Nebraska.
Yeah, it's just a little village, but it was
Well,
$30,000 whole house.
the
Yard.
lead singer of the band I work for, he originally lived in LA, and he just ended up moving to Arkansas because it's so much better.
Yeah.
Price of living.
So, but I mean, I really have fallen in love with the weather,
Mm-hmm.
and when it comes to entertainment, you like actually have everything.
Plus food. Food in LA is amazing.
Yeah.
Like some of the best Thai food I've ever had in my life is there.
Yeah. Obviously the tacos too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's fun, man.
It's funny because when we're on the road, that's what our tour is mostly driven on is food.
Yeah, dude, same, yeah. Whenever I picked up Forrest, or I guess when Forrest picked me up, I was like, just so you know, our first stop is Waffle House.
Oh yeah,
because we don't have that in LA.
All
and
right.
then I was super irritated that I didn't know until this morning, and I was in a rush to get over here. But leaving Des Moines, there's a Steak and Shake. I didn't know that because I was just like, oh, I miss Steak and Shake too. So.
Dude, that actually should be a good question for you and your traveling artist. What's your Waffle House order?
Okay. So Waffle House, I always do the Texas bacon melt, but I replace like the beef with a chicken patty.
Oh.
And it's watch out.
See, I do the grits bowl.
Okay.
Or the egg and cheese grits bowl.
Yeah,
and you add cheese to your eggs.
Okay.
You do cheesy eggs. That shit's so good.
Yeah.
Everybody has their Waffle House order, so that's you go there and it's always like that go-to.
Yeah, so I took Forrest to Waffle House for his first time ever.
Really?
So it's just like good.
That's what's up.
Yep.
I used to live in Phoenix. I spent a couple years out there in school.
There's a Waffle House there,
bro.
Yeah.
We went on Thursdays. They had like a $5 all you could eat off of this one page. We made them pay for that.
Oh yeah. So the Phoenix Waffle House is the closest Waffle House to LA.
Okay.
So but the way I kind of like launched this whole music career thing or whatever is I took a job installing home security systems in North Carolina. So I went and worked 3 months like nonstop and just pocketed all the money and dumped all that into music, whatever. But the beauty of it was in North Carolina, we were just a bunch of like bachelor dudes living in an apartment, just working nonstop. So I would eat Waffle House at least 3 times a week, Steak and Shake at least 3 times a week, and then North Carolina they got Cookout. Have you had Cookout?
Oh yeah, Cookout, dude. It's you go there and you can get like one of everything.
Oh yeah, for like $6.
Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like you order like a cheeseburger and they're like, what do you want for a side? And one of the sides is like 2 corn dogs. You're just like, I can't even finish this, you know?
It's such a weird array of things, and they have so many milkshakes.
Yeah.
But I would say the quality is, but it's good for the price.
Yeah. But
you have your regional foods. It's like when we go when we're in the Illinois area, and it's like you got to hit a Portillo's and stuff like that.
Yeah. And what is? Man, I can't think of it. What is the gas station that you can order sandwiches from the pump? You know what I'm talking about?
Is that the Wally's?
It's not Wally's.
No.
It's like a red emblem. Man, but as you're pumping gas, like the touchscreen comes up. It's like, would you like to order a sandwich? And you just customize it from the gas pump, and then you go in and pick it up after you pay. It's amazing.
No, Buc-ee's. No,
it's not Buc-ee's.
Fonzo sends me snaps from Buc-ee's almost every time.
Yeah. I go to Buc-ee's so much. The whole band actually has Buc-ee's tattooed on them.
That's cool. How do you feel about the expansion that Buc-ee's is doing? Because I know they're in like Atlanta now.
Oh, dude, I'm happy about it because that way you can get a good brisket sandwich in Colorado.
Okay.
You're guaranteed a good brisket sandwich. Or you just that creature comfort of having a familiarity of
Yeah.
being like, hey, I could actually crap here and be on point.
Yes.
Like not
Yes.
their bathrooms.
Yeah.
If you know you're going to go to a Buc-ee's, you hold it. You
Yeah.
hold it until you
Luxury.
get there.
Luxury. Yeah.
Fonzo has sent me so many bathroom pictures.
Oh yeah, because
From
okay, and that's
Buc-ee's,
another
bro.
thing too. So being on tour, you've learned to build the nest, right?
Yeah.
Or you have to build your nest before you sit down.
Yep.
And even at Buc-ee's, you got to build one. But yeah, it's
So during the first King ISO tour, there was a lot like Strahd kind of built that kind of circled around Omaha like he likes to do, you know.
Oh,
So everybody lives in Omaha except for me, so he's putting me in a hotel every night. And at the time, they were like building that aloft that was like. You guys have some village that's Nebraska spelt backwards. I don't know how to say it.
Exarban,
That's the word. Okay. So there's that aloft over there. That's where I used to stay because they were still building it. So they were giving straw rooms for like $50 a night or something like that. It's a nice hotel.
Yeah.
But just up the street, walking distance, I looked on my phone and it said Buc-ee's. I'm just like, no freaking way. And I'm just like, oh, this is like not Buc-ee's. I'm
it's the
very
Omaha
disappointed.
Buc-ee's.
Yes,
Yeah.
very disappointed.
It's not the same thing. But so now what I've been told out in Gretna, they're actually going to put a Wally's out there. Yeah, for people that don't know what Buc-ee's and the difference between Buc-ee's and Wally's, they're like the same thing.
Is
But
Wally's the one that's like near Vegas?
there's one. No, they're towards St. Louis in Illinois area. They do the
Yeah, see, they got the Wallies there, and they're doing Buc-ee's down in Missouri too now.
Yep. They put
They
a
just built a
Buc-ee's in
bunch of
like
Buc-ee's.
Springfield, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right outside the
And they're
hometown.
putting one in Kansas City too. I know way too
Dude.
much about Buc-ee's. Well, I feel like I should be getting paid right now.
When you do Springfield, do you go to the Bass Pro Shop headquarters?
Oh yeah, we've stopped there every once in a while, but yeah,
I'm from Springfield.
Are you? Okay, I've played some cool shows in Springfield. Yeah. Yeah,
There's
Springfield's rad.
one of my
See,
favorite burger
Waffle
places in
House.
Springfield.
I'm sorry.
No. One of my favorites burger places in Springfield. It's called the Black Sheep. They do this thing where they do it's applewood smoked fries, and you could actually taste the smokiness of the fries. Oh my god, it's so good.
Is that the same place that does the wings? Like they do like peanut butter jelly wings and like
I don't know if they do wings.
What's the place in Springfield that does wings? Super famous for their wings. I'll have to do some.
I haven't lived there in 20 years.
Okay,
so
okay,
I
okay,
could
that's
not
fair.
know.
That's fair.
We used to go because we'd play the ballroom up there. I can't think what it's called.
The upstairs.
Yeah.
At the downstairs is like
A bar club.
that I play the downstairs.
We
Yeah.
played the downstairs too.
Okay.
But it's the Black Sheep is literally right around the corner from there.
Okay.
And they used to tell us like, don't go there. One time they clogged up our toilets, so we don't like them. I'm like, well, I still eat their shit. So.
Yeah. After I eat there, I'll be back to
Yeah.
reclog the toilet.
Was that 2 years ago? 3 years ago?
Yeah. Yep.
So I was on the Doobie and Caskey tour, and they were booked upstairs, and they were like, "We've had some major plumbing issues, so has been moved to downstairs." So that's hilarious.
Yep.
That's
It's from
hilarious.
that place that I love so much.
That's so funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
After he
Hey,
goes,
how big was that turd? No.
Right.
anyway,
That's
so
awesome.
like when you guys talk about Waffle House, it grosses me out, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you don't
love
do
it.
it, huh?
Man, I lived in a Waffle House, dude. One of my friends was a manager.
Okay.
Dude, it's just so much grease.
Well, I mean,
It
there's,
was sometime in the late 90s. I went to South Carolina and I was super intoxicated with my brother, and he took me to my first Waffle House,
Dude,
bro,
if
and
you're-
it was
if
the
you're-
greatest
If you're
experience.
intoxicated, it's the best.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
dude, I've been to, you always, you know how it is traveling. You hit a Waffle House. It's like that creature comfort on the road when you're like
It is.
driving and it's late at night, you're starving. Because at the venue usually tries to feed you some bowl.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, at least I know at Waffle House I'll get some substance that I'm going to be happy about. But you go to some Waffle Houses and some it smells like they literally mopped everything in the place with
Tables
toilet
and
water.
all, Yep.
Yeah, it just is like, holy shit, this smells awful in here.
Okay, so here's another good topic. Is one thing I'm super passionate about is venues that have a really solid kitchen built in.
Yeah.
And so, like, do you ever play Wildwood in Iowa City.
Yeah.
The barbecue
smoke,
spot.
Yeah,
Holy smokes!
They're
Or
good.
like, do you guys ever play the other side in Kearney?
Yeah.
They got that sandwich shop in there now.
We just did that. I think the sandwich shop wasn't there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but
okay. I'm there tomorrow, but their sandwich shop is like top tier. Like me and Straw will order our food, we'll eat it, and then like at last call we'll order another sandwich for the night.
Oh, nice.
Like, it's so good. But their sandwich is super good. And then do you do the gym in Idaho Falls as well?
Mm-hmm. Nope, never been there.
They've got amazing food built in there too. So like that's another thing that I've been compiling my list of. Like,
dude,
I want to book shows just based on the venue kitchen.
After this, I'll show you. I have a map on my phone of places to eat that we go to stop at. Yeah.
It's nuts.
Oh yeah. You think you were talking to Straw about that?
Oh yeah. My map is nuts. It's nuts.
That's awesome. Well, fellas, we got burgers on the smoker. We'll go ahead and wrap it up here.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Thank you for your time, sure. And I am really looking forward to getting the kids out to see you tonight.
Cool.
It's
cool.
You're kind of a hero at the house, so it's going to be dope. You and King ISO are big for the kids. So
cool. I need to text him and see if he'll come out tonight. I need to see if he's going to bring his kids out.
He shows up. Like, I don't even know that you would need to text. He is always around. He's always popping up at the shows. It's nice.
I just need to make sure that he knows that his kids are invited.
There it is. So. Yeah.
Or do the opposite. Be like, dude, they can't come.
Yeah.
And then make them bring it.
Get a sitter.
Yeah.
Get a sitter.
Oh, yeah? Well, Otis told me that. I'm bringing them.
That's probably how it would work. Yeah.
That's what's up. All right, fellas. Well, we'll see you tonight and have a good day.
Yep. Thank you.
Run it.
Come and jump in the ride, hop on the bus. We gon' slide.